Welcome to the Bank On Customer Service Training. My name is Bill Mills. I am the Director of Strategic Initiatives for Florida Prosperity Partnership, and I also act as the Director for Bank On Florida. The Florida Prosperity Partnership is a coalition of organizations across the state that have an interest in building prosperity in the state of Florida. It's for-profits, not-for-profits, and government agencies as well. It's a membership organization, so I definitely encourage you to check it out at floridaprosperitypartnership.org. Bank on Florida is currently Florida Prosperity Partnership's largest initiative. So, what is Bank On? Well, the first thing you need to know is that the slogan across the United States for Bank On is "Everyone is welcome." Bank On is a social marketing campaign that provides access to mainstream financial services and the education needed to sustain and grow these banking relationships and build assets for low and moderate income families. Important things you need to see here are that it is a financial education program, but also a relationship building program. The initiative started in 2006 with Bank On San Francisco. It was an effort that combined the city of San Francisco with the Federal Reserve Bank and many of community partners and financial institutions, when they were really searching on how they could address the needs of the city's unbanked and underbanked households. And this program since then has spread throughout the country and is based on, like I said, a collaborative effort with local communities and financial institutions, local governments, community-based, and nonprofit organizations. The model's pretty simple. It's driven by partnerships. There's statewide asset building coalitions, state and municipal governments, community-based organizations, financial institutions and regulators, regional and local asset building coalitions, and VitaSites. Once again, the partnership, which you'll hear many times throughout this whole presentation, is the biggest part of this. What you do is you look for innovative solutions to reach that and underbanked individual, including developing safe, affordable financial products, creating pathways and supports to assist targeted populations to utilize these products, and conducting outreach campaigns to inform the public about these opportunities. As of this recording, 7.3% of households in Florida are unbanked. 21.1% of households are underbanked. So what this means is if you are underbanked, you will have an account, but unfortunately you're not using it the correct way. And you're also using some alternative financial services. These financial services could be anything from check cashing or payday lending to even using a pawn shop as a bank, even though you might have a bank account. So total, you have 28.4% of households in Florida that are either unbanked or underbanked. And this is based on a national survey of unbanked and underbanked households. Unfortunately, it has gone up since 2009. These numbers that you see here were based on the 2011 survey. If you're interested in looking more into those numbers, or numbers across the United States, I invite you to look at www.economicinclusion.gov. You'll find all those statistics and a nice detailed report. If you are interested in finding more about what the unbanked and underbanked situation is within your area in the state of Florida, I will invite you to look at our website, bankonfl.org, bankonflorida.org. Click on the member page, which is in the top menu on the right-hand side, and you can go down and it will direct you to look for those statistics within your local area. Once you click on that link, it'll actually take you to a site where you can download different pointers and presentations so that you can use that to help build your own Bank On program. So what are the consequences of being unbanked? Well, $8 billion in fees go to alternative servicers across the United States a year. And that includes those payday loan fees. And the average charge for cashing paychecks, $40. Unfortunately, $1,000 to $2,000 annually is spent for check cashing services when a person does not have a bank account. A low-wage worker who never utilized mainstream financial services over their 40-year full-time work history would spend $40,000 or more on check cashing services. Now, if they had invested that money instead, they'd have over $300,000 at retirement. Unfortunately, low-wage workers are not always aware of the benefits available to them, and they're very vulnerable to these predatory lenders. The unbanked pay an average of 1 to 10% of their salary for check cashing services. And these are already low-wage workers to begin with. Payday loans cost workers 50 to 400% interest. They also spend money preparing their taxes. And that can cost 25% or even more of total refund. Unfortunately, a lot of these people do not know about the local VITA tax programs that are offered across the U.S. And also, unfortunately, they are unable to accumulate assets through savings without a true relationship with an upstanding mainstream financial institution such as a bank or a credit union. So what is your role in the Bank On program? As I mentioned before, partnerships are a vital ingredient. No one entity can do it alone. The Florida Prosperity Partnership is the statewide network that I mentioned earlier that can bring the partners together, and we coordinate the statewide approach to the Bank On initiative. In 2010, the Florida Prosperity Partnership brought partners from all over the state together to help create Bank On Florida. A wonderful program was built based on the support and help of many financial institutions and also statewide and local community organizations through the Bank On Florida Advisory Council. Now, Bank On Florida operates as a help to local groups that are looking to start their own Bank On in their region. Local and state government are also important. They play a very important role. The elected officials can serve as champions, and they can also help to convene stakeholders, or even to help to influence financial institutions and community organizations to join. Community organizations engage residents through direct outreach and referral, act as primary service providers or conveners for financial education. VITA sites can offer connections to accounts. The community organizations can also assist with data tracking. An important thing to note here is that first bullet, engaging residents through direct outreach and referral. Without that partnership of the community organization, without the role that they're playing, where would the referrals come from? And we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Financial institutions will provide insight and expertise into development and provision of appropriate financial products. And they also participate in outreach and marketing and collect and track data for evaluative purposes. So how can financial institutions help the unbanked? Well, as part of this, if you're watching this video, your financial institution has agreed to be a part of the Bank On program in your community. So you'll be helping customers open basic or low-cost checking and or savings accounts. And you'll be referring customers that are unable to open accounts with your institution to another institution or back to the Bank On program as appropriate for help. And when we talk about referring them back to the Bank On program, perhaps that will be referring them to a nonprofit partner or to 211 to get more information. And really, this is the most important thing that a financial institution can do. If a client comes into your financial institution, if you're not able to open an account for them, you do not want to tell them, no, we can't open an account. What you want to do is to give them a selection of choices. Perhaps you're not able to open the account for whatever reason it might be, but maybe there's a way that they could open it in the future, and you can assist them through financial education, referring them to financial education, or maybe it's referring to one of the partners at a community organization who can work with them individually to help better themselves to open that account. Or perhaps this client doesn't fit into the particular molds that your financial institution expects with their clients. Not that there's anything wrong with each institution having those particular molds. That's what's great about the free market system. But what you want to do is, if you know that unfortunately you're not able to, but another partner is, perhaps you could refer them over to that financial institution to help them help themselves. Financial institutions should also encourage their customers to sign up for free financial education classes through those participating nonprofit agencies. And they should volunteer to teach or assist at financial education classes. And very importantly, they need to understand that some customers may not directly ask for a Bank On product, but will ask for the unbanked program or free banking, etc. It could be many different things. Hopefully, everyone at the branch level of whatever branches are involved with the Bank On program, that each of the individuals that work there at least know what the Bank On program is, and then could refer them to someone else in the branch that might be the champion for the program. If you're with a community organization, of course there's ways that you could help the unbanked as well. Once again, we mentioned earlier that you could offer financial education classes. Another important thing would be to discuss the product matrix. If you're not sure of what the product matrix is, please contact your local Bank On program to ask for this product matrix so you can take a look at it. Oftentimes they have it uploaded onto their website where you can take a look at it. What this product matrix is a sheet where you can find out what all the individual financial institutions are needing or wanting for them to open an account, and what the individual financial institutions have for a types of accounts. So there's many different things that you want to look at on that product matrix, but the important thing is it is something that can help you to help your clients to find what is the best fit for them. It might be Bank A or Bank B down the street, or Credit Union 1 or Credit Union 2. And very importantly, you want to perform a warm handoff. What we mean by this is please don't just tell them to go up the street and open an account. What you want to do is form a relationship with the financial institutions that you are helping the client to choose between, and give that person a call or introduce them so that they know who the client is and the client knows who the banker is. So how can the financial institutions help the newly banked? So once they've opened an account, then you want to make sure that you follow through with all of the individuals that have opened that account and make sure that they are well prepared to make that a lasting account and keep their accounts open. Ways to do this are by educating each customer on how to succeed with their new account. Make sure the client understands the account. A lot of small print on your brochures, so make sure that they understand them. Instruct the customer on the rights and responsibilities of properly managing a checking account. And explain all the fees associated with the account. Explain the opt-in for overdrafts and emphasize a high cost of overdrafts. Encourage your customers to carefully consider the consequences of overdrafts on ATM and debit card transactions. Teach them how to properly use a debit card. Teach them how to use ATMs and how to avoid the costly fees for the use of network ATMs, out-of-network ATMs. Oftentimes you'll find that some of these people that are newly banked have never been to an ATM before. So you want to make sure they understand things like that. Then it's amazing what you can do to help build the customer's confidence, but also help build a relationship with the customer by just teaching them how to use things like the ATM. Another thing that you could do is help them to reconcile and keep track of account balances. Show them how to do it the first time, whether it be paper or electronic. Also, how to pay their bills. It's always important to ask them, have they ever used an account before? If no, maybe they don't even know how to write a check. That's not that unusual. So it wouldn't hurt to just teach them how to write that check. Only takes a few minutes, but could mean a lot in their lives. And something that a lot of the bankers like anyway, how to use that electronic banking. Whether you're a financial institution or a community organization, here are some ways that you can help to encourage customers to save. One of the best ways is to keep these low-wage workers from utilizing payday lending services, rent-to-own, refund anticipation loans, and other alternative financial services. Is to encourage the establishment of a savings account with automatic deposits. Also, encourage customers to open savings accounts and have a portion of their direct deposit pay automatically deposited in their savings. So, if you are having a successful Bank On program in your region, you'll start to see the fruits of this labor. And these include the financial institutions receiving increased access to the untapped market of the and underbanked. Residents will protect their income and assets and have more wealth building opportunities. Community groups have access to more asset building opportunities for their clients. Family financial stability equals overall city economic vitality. This is something, of course, that your partners on the government side will absolutely appreciate. Financial services can become a larger part of the community and asset building strategies. So, what do we want our customers to know? First, as we mentioned earlier, everyone is welcome and can open a low-cost account. Now, of course, when we say everyone is welcome, it'd be great if we could put a little asterisk there, but that doesn't quite work with the marketing. that, yeah, everyone's welcome as long as you haven't committed fraud in the past. So that's one thing that we do not ask any of our financial institutions to do, is to open accounts for those that have committed fraud. What else do we want our customers to know? Checking and savings accounts help people save money and keep it safe. Learning how to manage money is an important step towards financial success. So, if we know all this to be true, why are people unbanked? Well, if you look at the characteristics of the unbanked, these are households that are more likely to be unbanked than the population as a whole. These households oftentimes are Black, Hispanic non-Black, or American Indian or Alaskan householder. Spanish, if Spanish is spoken as the only language in a home, you often see that that is a household that is unbanked. Households with foreign-born citizens. Family households that have an unmarried female or a male-female householder. Households earning less than $30,000. Or perhaps they do not have a high school degree. And also, there's often an age. If you have the main householder under the age of 45, you'll see that a lot of those are unbanked as well. So why would they want to open an account? Well, when you look at why, and this is once again from the FDIC's National Survey of Unbanked and Underbanked Households, you'll see that a lot of the reasons are very similar to the reasons why we would have a bank account. We want to write checks and pay bills, or we want some security to our money, or even save money for the future. So it's not different from what we already know. But oftentimes, the people are unbanked because, well, they're not educated about all of the ins and outs of account holding. Many of them have a fear of minimum balance requirements or a lack of understanding about the fees and other charges. Oftentimes, they've mismanaged past accounts. And that's why a lot of the Bank On programs have financial institutions that do offer some second chance accounts, and we'll talk about those in just a moment. Many fear the stringent ID requirements. We'll also talk about that in a moment as well. A lot of times you'll find that there's cultural or even generational distrust of financial institutions. There's a lot of Latin American countries where they've put money into an account and the bank closes and they never see their money again. So you'll see a certain predisposition not to open an account with a financial institution. Once again, there's a lack of basic knowledge in financial education, and unbanked households are usually clustered in lower socioeconomic neighborhoods and poor rural areas. So let's talk about some of the immigrant banking needs. As I mentioned earlier, in some countries, banks are not safe, secure, or trusted. So a lot of times, the discussion of FDIC insurance will be extremely important for immigrants, and helping them to understand what the FDIC insurance is and about ready access to their funds. Another thing that immigrants are also always oftentimes I should say, looking for is ways to send money back to their family members at in their own home countries. So they're going to be interested in wire transfer costs. Some lack Social Security numbers and be interested in knowing about alternative forms of identification. An example is matricula consular cards. That might be something that you would look at the product matrix for if you're at a community organization to see if which financial institutions allow for matricula cards as a form of ID. Another thing that the immigrants are looking at, oftentimes with language barriers, some may be uncomfortable in writing checks. They'll be especially interested in other options like debit cards and online banking. Let's take a look at the seniors. In March 2011, all new Social Security recipients, veterans, and railroad pensions went to direct deposit it. If they were all new in 2013, in March of 2013, all beneficiaries converted to a direct deposit or the Direct Express card program. So what you'll see is a lot of people, elderly, are new to the banking system because they're kind of being forced into it by these changes with how they're receiving their Social Security and pensions. A lot of times the seniors are looking at, are very interested in safety, the FDIC insurance once again, and fund availability. That's a certain primary concern of seniors. And let's take a look at persons with disabilities. The statistics you see here are from a 2008 Cornell report on the disability status in the United States. So you can see 54 million people are labeled as Americans with disabilities. And being here in Florida, we would certainly look at 31% of them in the South. So this is a large number of persons with disabilities that, of course, are needing to have bank accounts. So some things we certainly want to look at when we have persons with disabilities that come into financial institutions, or even if you're working with them as a community organization when we're discussing the Bank On program, or these 10 commandments that you see here for etiquette, work with any program as well. The first thing you want to make sure of is that when you talk with a person with a disability, speak directly to that person rather than through a companion or a sign language interpreter. So you speak to them, not to the interpreter. When introduced to a person with a disability, it is appropriate to offer to shake hands. People with limited hand use or who wear an artificial limb can usually shake hands. And yes, shaking hands with the left hand is an acceptable greeting. When meeting a person who is visually impaired, always identify yourself and others who may be with you. And when conversing in a group, remember to identify the person to whom you are speaking. Now, don't be afraid to ask questions when you're unsure of what to do. If you offer assistance, wait till the offer is accepted. Then listen to or ask for instructions. Treat them as adults. Address people who have disabilities by their first names only when extending the same familiarity to all others. Leaning on or hanging on to a person's wheelchair is similar to leaning on or hanging on a person, and is generally considered, annoying. And the chair is part of the personal body space of the person who uses it. You also want to listen attentively when you're talking with a person who has difficulty speaking. Be patient with them. Wait for them to finish rather than correcting or speaking for the person. If necessary, ask short questions that require short answers, a nod or a shake of the head. Never pretend to understand if you are having difficulty doing so. Instead, repeat what you have understood and allow the person to respond. Their response will clue you in and guide your understanding. Also, when speaking with a person who uses a wheelchair or a person who uses crutches, place yourself at eye level in front of the person to facilitate the conversation. To get the attention of a deaf person, tap the person on the shoulder or wave your hand. Look directly at the person and speak clearly, slowly, and expressively to determine if the person can read your lips. Not all people who are deaf can read lips. But for those who read lips, be sensitive to their needs by placing yourself so that you face the light source when you're speaking. Also, relax. Don't be embarrassed if you have to use accepted common expressions such as "see you later" or "did you hear about that?" They can you can seem to relate to a person's disability. If they don't worry about them so much, just relax. All right, so let's go back and talk about what if you can't help a customer? Well, if you're a financial institution, refer. Once again, we spoke about this earlier, but make sure that you refer. Don't tell them, no, we can't open an account. What you want to do is every client that comes out of your financial institution either has an account or has a way to get an account. Might not be tomorrow, but down the road. So it might be a referral to 211 or to a partner community organization, as I mentioned earlier, perhaps to another institution. I do want to highlight the community organization. Hopefully you are building relationships with those community organizations if you're a financial institution. That the relationship with the community organizations in your area so that you can do a warm handoff, as we mentioned earlier, of the community organizations handing off to the financial institution, so that they are talking with the person who might be able to help them, who will be able to help them to eventually open an account. And once again, all individuals should leave your financial institution with either a resolution to their unbanked status, either an opening account, or a clear direction where they may receive assistance for their financial needs. Okay. A lot of people wonder about this. What about check systems or previous banking issues? Well, what we want to do is we do want to help the clients with the negative banking history get back on the path to success. We want to work with these clients to contact and arrange payment plans for outstanding account issues and help clients contact the check systems and order their report. If you're a community organization, make sure that you are working with your financial institutions to make sure that you're helping them do this. We also, if you're a financial institution, you want to monitor those accounts if you're able to ensure the clients are managing their accounts and refer to financial education opportunities and other assistance through the Bank On initiative. If you're unable to open the account, once again, explain options, provide appropriate referral. Once again, no client should be turned away. So what can you do to help Bank On succeed? If you're a community organization, if you work for a community organization, you can make sure everyone in your organization is familiar with Bank On program. Tell other agencies, community organizations, faith-based organizations, neighborhood groups about the program. If a banker comes to a person and says, hey, you should open a banking account, Are they more likely to open an account hearing that from a banker? Or perhaps they hear it from their pastor. You know what? Maybe you should open a bank account. Or maybe it's the social worker. Maybe you should open that bank account. It's amazing when they hear it from the people that they have that trusted conversation with, how much more influential it is. Other things that you can do to help the Bank On program succeed: volunteer to host and teach financial education classes. Provide direct deposit accounts to your own employees. Encourage them to bank and save. Also, let us know about personal success stories of your clients. It's always great to be able to share those and help grow the program. Also, you could volunteer to speak about your organization's experience at different Bank On events. So, if you're with a financial institution, how can you help Bank On succeed? Well, make sure everyone in the branches know about the Bank On program and can assist clients in positive choices. We hope that everyone in the branch in general would be able to help them with positive choices. But we also want to make sure that at least they know about the concepts of Bank On, and when they hear it in conversation, their ears will perk up and say, and at least tell themselves, hey, at least I know something about it. And then if it's not them in particular at the branch that helps that client, at least have someone in your branch that is the champion for it. So you can do this by making sure that you do scheduled training for staff in targeted branch locations. Use Bank On materials in employee areas to help raise awareness. Send emails to staff to raise awareness of the program. And provide new training to new staff, such as this video that you're watching now. Other things to help Bank On succeed: tracking. If you're able to track the accounts, if you're a financial institution, by using different codes, or if you're a community organization as well, helping to track and find out your clients, whether they're opening accounts and keeping them open. Other things to help Bank On succeed: some challenges and opportunities. It's very important that you understand the financial needs of the unbanked and underbanked population in your community. And you look beyond traditional checking and savings accounts. There's many different types of products, and oftentimes Bank On programs will start with the very basics of checking or savings accounts. But we want you to look further at what types of products are available for this clientele. It could be a prepaid card. It could be low-dollar loans. There's many different things that are available. The important thing is to look at these and make sure that they are, first of all, available in the area, but also responsible products. By doing this, you can develop a continuum of financial services based on need. To find out more information about any of this, you can go to our website for Bank On Florida, which is bankonfl.org. I have my treasure chest there. Just to remind you, it is a treasure trove of information. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you've learned something. And if you do have questions, please email me at bill.mills@bankonfl.org. Thank you so much.